Okay, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the OTR e-racing news desk. And here's the breaking news. Tim Cook takes the opening stage of Chris O's Dubai Adventure Tour with a really good win from a free-up sprint. So it was quite an exciting finish. You can find all the details in the forums and on my YouTube channel, which incidentally I've edited the highlights video, so it's now pretty watchable. Okay, let's get on with what's been happening then. What we're going to do is we're going to cover all the events which we were involved in, OTR and myself, and give you the full results service as well. So we'll kick off with the Enduracer series, which started this weekend, and this was run in different time zones. So we've got multiple winners over the multiple time zones. In fact, I've got two results to show you. So let's have a look and see. Here we go. You can, let's transition this across. There we go. So Roger Hughes took the win with a 1 hour 49. And Paul McNerney, I actually watched this race. I was covering part of it, but I didn't keep the recording because I had too many glitches for it to be a worthwhile broadcast. This was my first test event, so thankfully I managed to get it right later in the day, but I'm still ironing out the bugs in the system. Anyway, so we had Paul McNerney in second and Andy Gray, the master, in third place. I'll let you look at the rest of the results there. And then in the second running of the race, sorry, wrong one. Find results 2. Here we go. We had Jaden Jaeger, who took the win by pipping. Well, not pipping, he took it by quite a large margin, as you can see from the watt kilos. But he took the win. Our own OTR's Paul Poodle came in second, followed very closely 10 seconds later by Jan Decker from Rasio Racing. And it does seem like those two always seem to have good battles. You might remember back to earlier tours, and Jan and Paul were battling it out in the Tour du Monde, so which incidentally comes up again in January. More of that later. So that's the Enduracer event covered. And then we had the Moonriders Tour. Let's take these graphics off the screen, and here we go. Now, the Moonriders Tour is a 6-event tour with the best 4 events counting. We're currently into, it'll be stage 4 today, later on this evening, Europe time zone. And I'm going to be covering that with ZMS. Looking forward to that one, doing the full commentary. But stage 3 was run on Friday. And let's have a look at the results. So there you can see, I mean, this was a fascinating race. I covered this full commentary, and it was quite a tight battle at the top between Gav, Casper and Zach. And it ended up being a 2-man race really between Casper and Zach towards the end of the race. I say a 2-man, you can see that Gav only finished a minute behind, but Zach and Casper really broke away, and Zach was able to ride quite comfortably away from Casper in the last few meters. It was a brilliant stage to watch, and if you haven't seen it, that video is also on my YouTube channel. Details about my channel shortly. But yeah, I'd highly recommend watching this race because it really was. It was good tactics all round and good riding. The No Pins Race 3R team brought in Zach to replace Matt Looker, and Steve Brearley was also absent. So they brought in a flyer, and did he perform? It was a very exciting race to watch. Okay, let's get that one off the screen. And what we got next? We've just seen that. The Flemish. Now then, I also covered this, but I covered it not with ZMS this time, but with my own broadcasting. Basically, I was trying to iron out the bugs that I'd had earlier when I tried to record. And yes, I managed to do a full recording of it, but I was a little bit disappointed in this race, to be honest. And you can see from the breaking news, we had to disqualify, well, saying we, the race organizer, disqualified 2 of the riders. And so the win was taken by Frank. Again, this is, I think, his second week in a row. With Shim Celtic coming in second with a good ride, and Adrian Bennett coming in third. But for me, the race was spoilt by the 2 flyers, who did definitely affect the result. And to be fair to one of them, he sat up and didn't contest the race at the end, but one of them did, and really influenced the result. And I was very, very pleased, and say so in my commentary, to see that Frank took the genuine win in this one. If you haven't seen it, go again to my YouTube channel and check out the results. And talking about my YouTube channel, you can catch all these races and all the action on my YouTube channel. Type Derek Bulcock into YouTube, or follow any of the links in the forums, which will take you there, and you can see the kind of races that we cover. Basically, it's everything that RGT does. The tours, the individual events, the omniums type events, and all that kind of stuff. So there's some pretty good, even though I say so myself, some pretty good content on there. So nip over, and when you are there, hit the like button and the subscribe button, please. Let's try and grow this channel, because it's almost all RGT related. Okay, enough about me promoting my own channel. What we got next? The Knight Rider series. Now, I've contacted Samir to ask him for the results, and he hasn't done the results yet, but he did tell me that Wouter Klaes, who you all know from the Moonriders Tour, he's currently leading. He took the win last night in the Knight Rider event. So, but I don't have a banner to show, results banner to show you there. And then we had the OTR Vets race, and let's see if we can pull up the graphic. The OTR Veterans Racing, and this was an exciting affair. And but I don't think I have the individual results. Let's just pull up what I do have. Here we go. This is the individual results for the Celtic Wheels event. So let's have a look. This is the first time I'm able to see this, folks, because these were literally sent over right at the very last minute. And you can see Mike Aid took the win in the A category, but also the win overall. Followed very, very closely by, we've got a few with 59.08. Peter Austin, Peter Brook-Ravel, and Jojo Rusinek, all with the same time. So I don't know what the placings were there, but all with the same time. So it must have been a very tight sprint. But I'm missing Jared Miller, who took second place with a 59.05. So we got Mike Aid in first, Jared in second, and then 1, 2, 3 riders in third. and then Paul Pudell coming in a second, well, 0.2 behind in fourth. But that looked like a very, very tight race, as you can see from the results. I do love the veterans races. They are always contested well and always pretty exciting. So I'll have to live stream a couple of them in the future, I think. Okay, what's up next? Dubai. Now this kicked off this weekend, yesterday, and we had a couple of technical glitches at the beginning, but I did manage to record the majority of the race. We just missed the start. But I did manage, as I say, to record the majority of the race. And what an exciting race it was. I'd highly recommend you check out the video, because now that it's been edited, it's quite watchable. It's pretty good, and it's a very good finish in the race itself. We had 3 riders again going to the line, so check that one out. Let's have a look. It was run around this classic location, real life location in Dubai, and this was digitized by Paul Nichols from OTR. And Paul did quite a nifty thing on the screen by actually putting this graphic of the palm on the screen with a blue dot that showed the riders' positions going around it, so we could actually watch where they were on this feature in real time during the race, and that was pretty good. I mean, it was nice to see. And here you go. Here's the winners. So Tim Cook took first place. He just managed to pull away from Soderbergh at the end, and Mark Rowbottom finishing third. Now, 3 notable things about this tour is that I was able to call, well, 3 main events in the tour, because there was a 4-man group formed up and rode most of this latter half of the race together. And I was able to call that the 4th rider would get dropped before we got into the finish, and sure enough, he did. Although you're only seeing 3 on screen here, the 4th rider was actually dropped from this group, and I called that out. And then I called out that Soderbergh would go for a long one, because he's not really a sprinter. He couldn't handle the likes of Tim Cook in a sprint. So Per did go for a long one, as I forecasted, and sadly it didn't come off. Tim was able to get on his wheel, as was Mark, and they chased him down basically. But then towards the end, Tim set off in the last sort of like 200 meters, and Per was lost. He couldn't keep Tim's wheel. So it was a very, very good win, a very good race. And as I say, check out the YouTube channel, have a look at it. Okay, and then the other race I covered this week was the, for the first time, excuse me, was the Southern District Wheelers. And I have to say, I did enjoy covering this. It was quite a good race with some good racing to cover. Let's see, have we got the results for that one? Yes, I think we have here. Yep, here we go. I've had to pull it from RGT. Now, what I would ask, please, if the organizer of SDW happens to catch this broadcast, please could you fire me across the results so that I don't have to go looking for them. I spent most of this morning actually trying to find results for different tours. And if the organisers, including our own OTR organisers, could send me these results across and save me having to look through the forums, it would have saved me about 2 hours this morning. So please do that. Please send me the results, and then I can announce them in the news broadcast. But as you can see, this was won by David Blodgett, and what a good race it was as well. David was sort of like out of sight in the group, and nobody really, well, I'm saying nobody, I didn't expect David to win the event because I didn't even figure him in the finishing standings, purely and simply because he'd run such a fantastic race. He stayed out of sight, just did what he had to do in the bunch. But then at the end, he came through with a storming finish and was a worthy winner and a worthy champion. So, yeah, a very, very good race from David. Wout Hartveld had a good second place, followed very, very closely by Fabian. And then John Beams wasn't able to hold the wheel, but he did almost get third place, and in fact, 0.1 of a second behind Fabian in third place. So John was storming at the end, but was only able to take fourth place. But that does keep him well up in the standings, and I think he'll be a contender in future runnings of this event. You'll have to excuse me, folks. I'm still full of cold. Those of you that have watched my weekend broadcast will realise just how poorly I've been because I'm struggling with my breathing still. Anyway, moving on, we've got Nick Greenhalgh down in 8th place. And the reason I mention Nick is if that's the same Nick Greenhalgh I know from Swift, he's a very, very class rider. And I was a little bit surprised why he was finishing so low down the field. I'm saying so low, 8th place isn't low, but you know, why he was finished in 8th when he's the kind of rider that could easily have been on the podium. And I can only assume that Nick is just coming back into it. And for me, the other highlight of this race, and in fact, again, go to the YouTube channel, check it out, because Doug Hart, who's a big chap from Leeds, a regular time trialist in real life and on RGT. He's a real engine, but he's not a climber. He's a big bloke and he's definitely not a climber. So Doug tried to break away on the flat sections before we hit the climb, which was towards the end of the stage. And sure enough, you know, he was pulling along on the front and getting gaps on a regular basis using his TT engine. But when we hit the climb, of course, Doug just couldn't stay with the big boys. And he actually messaged me and explained that to me, but he didn't need to explain it. I knew, because I know Doug, he's a pal. I know him from my time when I lived in Bradford and Leeds. So we go way back. And good to see you on the scene, Doug. I really enjoyed watching you. Okay, so that's basically a wrap up of the results, folks, for this week. If you've got another event which I've not covered and you want me to cover it, you want me to cover the results, fire me over the graphic banner for the event and then let me have the results at least by no later than Monday mornings and I'll get you in the show. Okay. What else we got to show you? Upcoming, okay. Well, I think the next tour to happen is going to be the tour of Latin America. Yes, here we go. Tour of Latin America, and this kicks off on 1st of December, I think. I've got a graphic somewhere. Let's see if I can find it. Whoops. Whoa. Clicking the wrong buttons. I will have this all automated soon. Here we go. So it clicks off on the 1st of December in Brazil. Sao Paulo in Brazil, stage 1, and it's a 24.4 kilometer circular route with not much climbing, 192 meters, so you know, very little climbing, 2% at its maximum. So yeah, it should be an interesting tour. I'm looking forward to this one, and again, we'll be covering this either myself or whenever possible the ZMS stream. And we have some even more exciting news coming up, because we've got obviously the Tour de Monde. Now I didn't have a graphic for this on show at the moment, but the Tour de Monde kicks off in January, and I'm going to cover it in depth in later news broadcasts. It's not really breaking news, so I'm not going to cover it in this broadcast, other than to say that kicks off in January, on the 8th of January, but more details in a later broadcast. What I do have for you is what OTR, along with Moonriders, are planning for the Christmas break. And this is something which is really exciting. They're going to run, have a look, it starts on the 1st of December, and for 24 days, they're going to run charity rides. And the charity rides, it's 24 stages, and the charity ride goes from Iraq to Bethlehem. So I don't know who's doing the roads. I suspect it may well be Paul Nichols again doing these roads. But basically, what they will do is they will digitize the roads from Iraq to Bethlehem, and we'll cover them in 24 stages. Now, it's for children in need. So what we're asking, that if riders are taking part, if you could make a small donation, anything counts. If you can just make a cup of coffee, the price of a cup of coffee, or anything larger that you want to donate, it's all for children in need. And it would be nice to see RGT putting something in the pot, a decent amount. So please try and support it. See how many of the 24 stages you can get to and ride. Okay, and that just about wraps up the news program. I don't think there's anything else on I'll just have a quick look down and see if there's anything else on my list here. But no, that looks to be about it. So that's about right for a news broadcast, about 20 odd minutes, just over 20 minutes. And we'll say goodbye, folks. We'll see you tonight in the fourth stage. Here we are. Let's pull it up again. The fourth stage of the Moonriders tour. And I'm going to be doing the commentary along with Damon from ZMS, who's going to be doing the graphics for me. And I'll see you then. Really looking forward to tonight, because I believe Matt Looker will be back, because the stage tonight is in his home country, Isle of Man, on the Isle of Man. So Matt Looker comes from the Isle of Man. He'll probably have ridden this road in real life, so should know it. And so, to my mind, this could be an opportunity for Matt to climb the standings and re-establish himself. So we'll see what happens. And the great thing about this tour is it's the 4 best out of 6 to count. So yeah, it should be exciting. Anyway, that's it. Take care, everybody, and stay safe. We'll see you later. Bye for now.